Peep game. For over a decade and a half, I've been posting about and tagging random law enforcement agencies in hopes to protect loved ones, avoid deaths and tragedies that could have all been avoided. Despite this, I have been ignored, ridiculed, and medically silenced to cover up these crimes you're all now aware of by a very aggressive PR team and costly campaign to silence and physically harm me from exposing. It only aimed to prevent me from further sharing publicly the facts and insights that Lady KP shared with me during our frequent and intimate conversations in her selfless attempts to save my life by sharing frequent plans to do harm and possibly by ending my life. I am writing this post to formally request an investigation into an entire group of individuals who worked at or around the residence of Ms. Kimberly Porter, including the publicists who assisted drafting this. It has come to my attention that these persons were also instructed to steal her computer and mobile devices, which contained her original book notes. Original notes are distinct from the fabricated bullshit and offensive pages circulated via Amazon, which depict graphic sexual acts involving me that never took place and were edited and added after Ms. Porter's tragic murder. I urge you to consider who authorized such a fictitious publication without categorizing it as calculated fiction. The publicists and conspirators worked in concert, from separate camps launching this campaign, which appears to be a very personal and a deliberate distraction from their involvement in covering horrific crimes, assisted in and perplexed the public for many years, which I have personally experienced and cautiously deemed just a medical crisis for legal reasons until the rest of these atrocities were uncovered by authorities, making it more believable to a gullible public that has been fooled for so long. Ms. Porter's missing devices, allegedly already in evidence, unquestionably contain the critical evidence that have been concealed. I'm convinced that evidence corroborates closely with details outlined in the recently released public indictment document. Additionally, it is pertinent to note that the individuals involved in this matter may also be connected to also concealing the alleged murders of several prominent artists, a situation that has left many bewildered. Yet those who are immersed in the culture and familiar with the intricacies of the entertainment industry may have a clearer understanding of the obvious. It is with a heavy heart that I reflect on the legacy of our beloved Lady KP. It is truly disheartening to think that those she considered close friends and who were financially compensated by her perpetrators may have conspired with the perpetrator to obscure the truth and tarnish her name, my name, and her unfinished book notes with these ridiculous and unfounded narratives. The absence of Ms. Porter leaves a void, depriving her of the opportunity to address these inaccuracies personally and to share her own factual memoirs detailing the brutal terror and madness she endured. Check all who text messages of those who serve in a PR capacity, as they have brilliantly and underhandedly crafted this fictitious story to service a personal vendetta. There's more. There's so much to unpack. Unfortunately, I'm the only survivor by the blessings of a medical team that initially gave up because of multiple system organ failure, septic, intubated, on a ventilator or 38 days, and forced to visit death's doorstep, but the God I serve and worship had another plan. Keep in mind that this is just the G-rated version of what I endured over a decade plus to silence the OG. I also kept forensic records of every individual who was sent my way to set me up, track me, gaslight me, and allegedly cause harm to my system. Unfortunately, Kimberlina was taken from us way too soon, and before she could complete her true thoughts before this fake unauthorized edit released on Amazon, which the disappearance of her computer and vital evidence raises significantly more questions. It is evident that her potential to expose the realities of her personal abuses, being drugged, the sex trafficking and human trafficking she was privy to, akin to the brave actions of Mrs. Cassie Ventura, posed a threat to those profiting from such heinous activities. In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on course to accomplish what Mrs. Cassie Ventura did by ignited the bonfire, which brings us here today with the avalanche that has brought Satan to their chambers. Let us honor the memory of Lady KP, acknowledging the strength, struggles she faced, and the truth she sought to reveal in her own personal notes. Not this fake, unauthorized nonsense using my name to keep dragging me as social punishment for exposing this years ago. There will be significant suit headed right for the heads of the responsible parties who dragged my name into this bullshit. Kim and I talked right up to a few days prior to her demise. She was in good health, and we are in such a great friend space, reminiscing about old times and celebrating news of our son's accomplishments. No affair, just great friends. We must continue to advocate for justice and ensure that every one of the individuals who conspired against her are held accountable and prosecuted to the highest extent of the law. Thank you to all the law enforcement agencies for their unwavering dedication to uncovering a portion of the truth. There's more rest in power, Lady KP. Your true legacy will not be forgotten. Most importantly, please pray for the kids. There is no validation in my claims coming true. There has been way too much collateral damage and death everywhere. Before coma, after coma. The A.I.B. Shore story.
Chapter 5. Sean Niels. The year passed, and, thankfully, we didn't have many bad arguments, although Sean was strangely getting into voodoo. He would put curses on people, and I wasn't sure how to respond to that craziness. My problem as a single mother was, I wanted to be married. He always had excuses and delays when it came to committing to marriage. His label was blowing up, Biggie dropped, and it was just about over. He also signed Mary J. Blige, and of course when I found out he slept with her, we fought. He claimed it was a mistake, and my stupid ass took him back again. Sean asked me for a threesome with her. At first I was mad, but Mary Was Beautiful was our first threesome, and I loved it. Mary was sexy. I would not be doing this a lot, but it was so hot. I was young, and exploring my sexuality was enticing. Over the years, we brought other women into our bedroom periodically, and we were happy. That is until one day I came home to a situation that went from awkward to a nightmare. Quincy was with the babysitter, and Sean was sitting with Al B. Shore at the dinner table. I had a child with Al, and Sean was the father in Quincy's life. The awkwardness of all of us being together had dissolved a long time ago, but it was still weird that they were here, in my home, together, alone. I sat down, and we had drinks. It was fun. The conversation was cool. Until it wasn't. Al was a little loose after a couple of drinks. I remember him saying, "Still weird seeing you with my friend. But you're happy, so I'm happy for you guys." Sean responded, "Thanks, man. Me and you, we've shared so much." Al replied coolly, "Word." The conversation took an odd and awkward turn when Sean said, "We all been together sexually, but not together." I was shocked for a moment, as quietness lingered in the room. I asked, "What do you mean by all together?" Al shifted uncomfortably, but Sean didn't hesitate. "You know how we sometimes invite other people into our bed?" I couldn't believe it. "Oh, hell no! Sean, this is my son's father. Al, say something." What Al said was mind-boggling. "I don't know. It could be kinda hot. I miss you in that way." Although I couldn't believe Sean would do this, the truth was, I still cared about Al, and this could be very hot. I just didn't want it messing up my relationship, and if things became awkward, how would it affect Quincy? So I asked, "Are you both sure?" I imagined both of them inside of me. I knew this would be awkward sexually. There would be some bumping of genitals. But what happened next, I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams. Al alphabet. I couldn't believe it. I stood there in shock. But when Sean, six, I ran out of the room. This was too much. I couldn't. Sean called out to me, "Oh, come on, Kimmy." They didn't chase after me. I couldn't get the image out of my mind. I couldn't be with Sean for a while. But that wouldn't be the last time I saw Sean in a compromising position. not by a long shot. One day I found the vault where he kept all of his encounters with men. Yes, he kept a record of it, but that's for later.